This is Jason DeBoard with the Original Prop blog, and today we're doing a part 2 follow-up video to the video published a couple days ago about the Luke Skywalker movie prop lightsaber up for public auction by Profiles in History. And this is being recorded in December of 2018. And originally, the subject of this video was going to relate to just one issue. But as I started prepping it, I came across a couple other things. So I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping and try to keep it as short as possible. It won't be nearly an hour like the last video, but there are a couple things I wanted to get into. So if you didn't come across the first video, you can find it linked on my website, the Original Prop blog at originalpropblog.com. It's under YouTube Close-Up, Profiles in History, Hollywood Auction 96, Luke Skywalker, Lightsaber from Star Wars, A New Hope. You can watch the YouTube video embedded within the page, that also includes some footnotes with some links. Or you can go directly to YouTube. It's under this heading here, Close-Up Look, Profiles in History, Hollywood Auction 96, Luke Skywalker lightsaber from Star Wars. Like I said, it's a really long video. It's 55 minutes long, but it has a lot of good information. So I've published literally thousands of articles on the Original Prop blog going back to 2007. And I have these funny moments every once in a while where either someone shares a link with me to an old article and I think, oh, I totally forgot about that. Or sometimes I Google trying to find some information and I come across my own article and it sort of triggers my memory like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I had one of those moments yesterday. I was reading a discussion online about this particular lightsaber that's up for auction next week by Profiles in History, and someone linked to one of my old articles, and I thought, oh, I totally forgot about that. I didn't forget about this specific article, and what this is about is, this was from 2008. I came across a blog post by the NRA, the National Rifle Association, about an original, quote, original Luke Skywalker lightsaber on display at the National Firearms Museum in Virginia. And really all there was to go on was this asset tag. And I think from the help of another person in this art market, I'd have to go back and read my emails, but I'm pretty sure he helped me out with this a lot. It looked like it came from Ellis Props when they had their liquidation sale. And, I did this article kind of picking this apart. As a result, I received a reader comment from, I believe it's Jim Supica. Let me double check here. He was the director at the National Firearms Museum. And, this was 10 years ago. He published at the time of the article this comment. And he kind of tried to defend what their position was, that this was a Star Wars authentic lightsaber. I didn't really agree with it. And that was kind of that. Really nice guy. I think I talked to him on the phone as well. So that was from 2008. Well, 5 years ago, which would have been 2013, I guess, Roger Christian actually posted a comment to Jim Supica. And Roger Christian is the consigner of this current lightsaber that's up for auction next week. I totally forgot about this. So this is what Roger Christian wrote as a comment on my own blog 5 years ago. He said, he basically makes 2 points. Point number one, A New Hope was filmed at Elstree Studios, then called EMI in Boreham Wood. Only one scene was filmed at Shepperton Studios, the X-Wing fighter hangar. 2. I bought all the Graflex flash handles as set decorator through my buyer on the film, Peter Dunlop. I made the original prototypes myself by hand, sticking the T-strip on and the bubble strip in the D-ring. The ones I made were used in the film as we had no time to make more when shooting started in Tunisia. All my mock-ups were handed over to John Steers to make the blade, a concentric motor, span, the wood dowel, painted with front projection materials. This was also used in the film to give some semblance of the sword, and rotoscoped at ILM, who created the actual blade in post. Ellis had nothing to do with them, and the one shown here in the museum is simply an original Graflex flax handle which anyone can buy. I have 7 or 8 of the original handles and am assembling some as prototypes exactly as I made them. All the exact details of how this and all the weapons and robots and sets were made is, I think you meant in my book, coming soon, Cinema Alchemist. And in the first video, I quoted him some passages from that book, Cinema Alchemist. So I actually posted a follow-up article highlighting this at the time of the comment, just because so much time had passed. So you can see I explained that Roger Christian made this comment about the NRA Museum's piece. I gave some information about his background. I linked to the original article that we just were referencing. There's actually even a promotional video here that the National Firearms Museum produced, which I'll see if it will still play here.
I have here a treasure from a galaxy far, far away. This is a prop lightsaber made by Ellis Props as a backup lightsaber for Mark Hamill's character, Luke Skywalker, for one of the most popular films of all time, Star Wars. The lightsaber was the preferred weapon of a Jedi. It was activated by a push of a button and could cut through almost anything. The lightsaber was essentially a sword that had a pillar of light energy discharged from the hilt instead of a metal blade. This particular lightsaber was made from a 1950s Speed Graflex camera flash grip and was originally part of our 2002's Real Guns of Real Heroes exhibit. In addition to this one, the museum has Obi-Wan's backup lightsaber made from the same company. This prop is currently showcased in our Mother of Invention display case in the museum.
In any event, I just found it interesting that Roger Christian at some point came across this article, several years ago about the Ellis Props Luke lightsaber on display at the National Firearms Museum, and felt compelled to register for my site and write a comment trying to correct the public record about that particular piece. So the original point of me producing this second video was I wanted to talk about the letter of authenticity, which I read from in the first video, but I didn't actually pop it open because I was reading from the actual catalog description, which quotes from this. So, it's 4 pages long. I'm not going to read the whole thing again. On the 3rd page, it says, "This lightsaber below is one of the originals, and it is authenticated as made by me, the maker of Luke's lightsaber, for which I won the Academy Award." And he signs and dates it. It's dated October of 2017, which when I was reading this the other day, I thought that was kind of strange that it was written, almost over a year ago. But we've got these photos here that's referencing this statement, "this lightsaber below." And below are these 2 photos. It says, "This lightsaber below is one of the originals, and it is authenticated as made by me, the maker of Luke's lightsaber, for which I won the Academy Award. This lightsaber below." And here's the 2 pictures. And then the following page has 2 more pictures, obviously set in the same scene, and he's holding it here. And then this is some still from the film. So He says this lightsaber below. I keep repeating that because that's where I'm honestly quite puzzled. It says this lightsaber below. It shows these two photos. So let me close this. So if you look at this photo on the far left upper corner, I took this photo. I took this photo at San Diego Comic-Con in July of this year. The one in the middle, this is from the Letter of Authenticity, which I've laid out all 4 pages below. So this is actually a close-up of this picture, which is right below where he says this lightsaber below is one of the originals. Okay. The upper right corner, this is one of the catalog photos that's in the Profiles and History catalog, and it's on the online listing on iCollector for this auction item, for this lightsaber. So this wasn't my discovery. I didn't look that closely at the LOA in the photos. Someone pointed this out to me. There are some discrepancies which would lead one to believe that the lightsaber up for auction is not the same as the one depicted in the Letter of Authenticity, where it says this lightsaber below is one of the originals. The other person had mentioned that these grips, like see how this looks a little bit rounded, like it's not a sharp edge. These grip edges are a little rounded, and then these are squared off. And then the other thing that he pointed out, so the one on the left is from the Letter of Authenticity. The one on the right is the catalog photo. So if you look at the metal band with the calculator strip bubbles, on the Letter of Authenticity, there's these ears, what they call these ears up here, right? This falls to the right if you're holding it straight on. In the catalog photo, here's the ears. This clamp is on the reverse side. And this, if you've never held a Graflex flash gun before, these are, when it's assembled, they're fixed in place. So it's not like you can just flip it from one side to the other. It's basically how it's put together. So there's that pretty pronounced discrepancy. Again, you can kind of see that these grips, the corners at the bottom are a little bit kind of sanded down or smoothed, whereas these are pointier. So I'm going to go back to the prior image here. Okay, and then one thing I noticed, because I was looking at my own photos from San Diego Comic-Con, see this rivet on the lever? It looks silver. It looks kind of flat, like a flat head silver screw. Go to the middle image from the Letter of Authenticity, and it's more of a rounded top, and it's a rusted, has kind of a rusted look. Like these two little rivets, to my eyes, do not appear to be the same. And also with the catalog photo, this is silver. This is rusted. Silver, rusted. So from my review, it does not look like the lightsaber that appears on the Letter of Authenticity is the same one that's up for auction. If someone has a different reading of it, comment below, contact me. They don't look the same to me. So that's just really, really unusual. So this is a close-up of that third page. So it says, this lightsaber below is one of the originals, and it is authenticated as made by me, the maker of Luke's lightsaber, for which I won the Academy Award. And that does not appear to be a photo of the lightsaber that's currently up for auction. So that's an outstanding question for me. Now, this is a funny thing. Like 5 minutes before I was going to start recording this video, and I was looking at that Ellis Props article that I wrote back in 2008, I saw an image and I thought, oh, another one of those moments. So I'm going to go back to that article here. Okay. So I wrote this article in 2008, November 2008. I'm scrolling down, just refreshing my memory, and wait a minute. This is my reenactment. So this image on the LOA was actually taken from my website. I took this image off of, I think I have a screen cap. So this is parts of Star Wars. Let me see if it opens up. Okay, so this is the parts of Star Wars website, which is like the best resource for all this stuff. So I right-clicked and saved this photo. And when I was prepping my article, see how I put these borders with these drop shadows? Like on some images that I borrowed from other sources. So I did the same drop shadow box here. And then using a program at the time, I believe called Snagit, I added these diagrams and descriptions of the D-ring, the T-track grips, the calculator bubble strip. Like I remember doing this because I remember you could stretch, the boxes to whatever size you want and the circles, 2008 technology. And just to make sure I wasn't completely losing my mind, I went back to my archive, I pulled it off my server, and you can see kind of the construction of the assets of my article. Like now we're going deep inside the workings of the original prop blog. So yeah, this is the image that I created, and you can see the Dropbox shadow here, just like you can see it on this completely unrelated image. So anyway, it doesn't mean anything. It's just really funny to me. Like what are the coincidences? This letter of authenticity for this piece I've been asking questions about actually has a photo from my website. So it's just super surreal, strange. Anyway, like I said, I had intended to do this video about one thing, and I kind of started going down this rabbit hole, and I was just like, okay, that's really strange. But just to show, this is the iCollector online listing for the lightsaber up for auction in 5 days. And as you can see, this is where the LOA came from. So one last point that I forgot to mention in the last video. So there was actually a second Luke A New Hope lightsaber that Profiles in History had auctioned back in 2005. And this came from the Kurtz Joyner archive, which is the same as the other one that we did go into. That also came from the Kurtz Joyner archive, and then it was re-auctioned. So there's actually been two, and the other two have both come from the Kurtz Joyner archive. So there was this first one, and I made a note for myself. So in July 2005, Hollywood Auction 22, lot 157, they had the Luke Skywalker Hero lightsaber from Star Wars. Sold for $200,600. In December 2008, as we discussed in the last video, Hollywood Auction 33, there was a lot 347, Mark Hamill Hero Luke Skywalker lightsaber from Star Wars and Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, sold for $240,000. And then in June of 2017, last year, Hollywood Auction 89, that last example was re-auctioned as lot 1307 with the same description, sold for $450,000. So I just wanted to make note that there's two other ones that have been auctioned by Profiles in History. One was auctioned twice. So I just wanted to make a point of that. And I believe that is it. So I just wanted to make a couple quick notes. You know, the discrepancy with the letter of authenticity, I would be interested to know what the explanation is for that, because it, you know, clearly says that this lightsaber below is one of the originals. And then that's the lightsaber below. And to my eyes, that is a different lightsaber from the one that's in the auction catalog and that was on display at San Diego Comic-Con back in July. So if anyone has any other comments, ideas, feedback, opposing points of view, explanations, feel free to post a comment on the YouTube video or on the original prop blog accompanying article. Thank you.